All right, I've got the ultimate guide to Season 1 for you guys today. Ubisoft just revealed everything that we need to know about Season 1. We're going to break this up into 3 parts. The first section, we're going to talk about gameplay. This is going to include the faction that we're getting as well as new weapons. Then we're going to talk about community, some different things that they are focusing on within the community for Season 1. And then lastly, we're going to discuss content, which is going to have the maps, the ranked play, battle pass, master game modes, and more game modes that are coming in Season 1 as well. Now, do me a favor, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, because this is going to be a long one today, folks. We got a lot to discuss. All right, let's get into this. All right, starting off in our first part talking about the faction, we have the GSK. So we've known this now, but the GSK is a part of the GSG-9 from Rainbow Six Siege. This faction is extremely defensive focused. Every bit of this faction screams defense. So if you're playing a competitive mode, if you're playing something like Occupy, this is going to be a new go-to faction for you. The passive ability negates the headshot multiplier, meaning that if somebody hits you in the head with a sniper headshot, it's not going to kill you. So that is absolutely going to be very interesting to play against, as well as when people shoot you in the head with their regular, assault rifles or SMGs, they're not going to get the headshot multiplier. So basically the way it works right now, as the GSK, your passive ability is you're wearing a ballistic helmet. So every headshot just does normal damage. Now, I'm a little bit confused because they specifically spoke about hitting a headshot with a sniper not killing you, needing to hit a second shot in order to do that. But I think most people just go for a body shot with the sniper, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. Are you just going to be incentivized to not hit a headshot? I don't think that's going to make much sense, but we're gonna have to play with it and see what that actually looks like. Now, as far as abilities are concerned, we have the shock wire and the ADS. Now, the shock wire has 3 charges, but you can only use 1 charge at a time on a 17-second timer. So as soon as you place that charge down, it goes for 17 seconds. It can be destroyed with a melee, but if you're trying to do that, it's going to slow you down. So just be aware of that. Be aware of your surroundings as you are trying to do that. The thing that I don't know about the shock wire is if you can wrap them, because it says you have 3 charges, and like I said, every 17 seconds you can place a new one, but I don't know if after you've already placed all 3, if you can then recharge all of those and do it over again. I don't know. They didn't really show us any gameplay or discuss anything regarding that, so just keep that in mind. You may only get 3 charges per life, which honestly, if you're able to stay alive and use all 3 of those, props to you, in my opinion. Now, the next ability that's really awesome is the ADS, or the Active Defense System. This is a very interesting piece of equipment because we don't have anything like it in XDefiant right now. You place it down and you have a 25-second timer. In that 25 seconds, it will have unlimited blocks, meaning that if you place down an ADS and the enemy team throws 50 grenades at you within that 25 seconds, it will block every single one of those grenades. Now, that's only for the 25-second duration, though. So once that 25 seconds expires, the ADS goes away. But this is what's interesting. You can then wait another 25 seconds for a cooldown to complete. And once that cooldown has gone through, you can then place your ADS down again. This is very interesting to me, and that's why I was mentioning the 3 charges and the timer with the shock wire, wondering if you could wrap it, because with the ADS, you can wrap it with the ADS. So depending on how good you are in your defensive stand, you can continue to put ADSs down for a couple minutes, realistically. I mean, if you could stay alive that long, you can do it. So this is super, super interesting. Now, the best way to place your ADSs is to put them behind walls or put them on the ceiling. Just obstruct the vision of the enemy team as much as possible when placing down your ADS. This way, the DedSec cannot hack it. So if you're looking for a counter, the DedSec is 100% the biggest counter that you can have with the ADS. Just try and get yourself a visual and hack it so this way they no longer have the ADS. As far as your ultimate is concerned, you have the G52 Tactical Shield, and you have 60 rounds in your 93R. This is a fixed, finite amount of rounds in your 93R. So you're not going to have any more rounds. You can't reload or anything like that. You just have 60 rounds to use. Once you're done, you're done. You also, with the Tactical Shield, have your flash ability. Now, on screen, it will show you a little indicator that is red, these little bars that's red when it's not ready to be used. Once it turns green, that is your indication that you can use the flash ability. Now, according to what we've seen in gameplay, you can do this flash multiple times per ultimate charge. And it also looks like the ultimate itself lasts a good bit of time. It's not a one and done kind of ultimate. This ultimate, I don't know the exact numbers of how long it lasts, but I'm guessing that it lasts like 20 seconds or something. I don't know. It looks like it takes a good bit of time to complete. So just be aware of that. This is an ultimate where you can make a last stand if you're trying to jump on the occupy zone in the last moments of the game, or whatever the case may be, or this might even be really useful in the upcoming bomb mode, we might find out. But just everything about this faction screams, screams defense. Now, this is where things are going to get interesting. If you guys are playing a competitive mode like Occupy or Zone Control or something along those lines, and you're playing in unranked, it would be amazing for you to have two GSK faction players on the same team. Because if you have a GSK player using the Shockwire and a GSK player using the ADS, you can combo these in the point that you're trying to occupy. So if you're trying to occupy a point, one of your GSKs drops a Shockwire and the other one drops an ADS. So this way, enemy players, they can't destroy your Shockwire with any grenades because the ADS is there. It's a really, really interesting combo that you can use. This is also most likely going to be able to be done in ranked play because as far as we know right now, there is not going to be any ability lock. Like, you're going to be able to play as many of the same abilities as you want in ranked, at least initially speaking. So theoretically, in the 4v4 ranked, you could have two players doing GSK and rocking the Shockwire or the ADS, which that's a bit of a cheese. So but the point is with GSK, very defensive focused, very interested to see how this faction plays out in Season 1. All right, let's talk about the new weapons. So in Season 1, we're getting the LVOA-C, which is their 6th assault rifle in the game. Now, what makes this different, where it slots in with the rest of the assault rifles, it has a higher fire rate than most of the other assault rifles and has better handling. But that is at the cost of having less range and more recoil. So when I hear all of that, to be honest with you, what I think is that it just sounds like it is potentially going to be a better version of the pre-existing MDR. Because right now, that's kind of what the MDR does. It doesn't have the same range as the rest of the assault rifles, but it also doesn't have the same damage output as some SMGs at close range. So it kind of is in a weird position. You kind of have to be choosing to use that gun. It's not really a gun that you're going to use if you're really trying to put out as much damage as possible. So what it sounds like to me is that this LVOA-C is potentially going to slot in and kind of make the MDR obsolete, because the fire rate is very fast with this gun. And it sounds like, depending on how you build this gun, you might be able to make this sort of a really good hybrid between an assault rifle and an SMG. This is the gun that I'm most excited to try out in Season 1 because I think it might fit my playstyle really, really well. But I think you're definitely going to need to play this gun in more of that short range engagement. Maybe even play it as if you're playing with an SMG. That's kind of the perspective that I have with this. If you're trying to do long shots, don't even think about using the LVOA-C. That's not going to work for you. Now, if you are trying to do long shots, the gun that is going to work is the L115 Sniper. Visually, this gun looks awesome. It gives me reminiscent perspectives of like Counter-Strike, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the L115 was in the original Modern Warfare 3. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. It looks great. It looks really, really good. Now, in terms of where it's going to slot with the rest of the snipers in the game, it's going to kind of fall in between the TAC-50 and the M44. So right now, the TAC-50 is very reliable for those one-shot kills. It has a lot of power behind it, but the movement speed is very slow with the TAC-50. So you're kind of slow and clunky with that gun, but you can blast through with the one-shot snipers. The M44, on the other hand, is very fast. It's a much quicker sniper, but in order to get those one-shot kills, you kind of have to hit the shoulder-up region. You can't really hit any body shots and reliably focus on getting one-shot kills. So from what we understand, the L115 has good one-shot ability. It's better than the M44, but it's not as good as the TAC-50, but it has more movement speed than the M44. So it sounds to me like this L115 is going to slot right in between the M44 and the TAC-50 to be sort of an everyman's sniper, if that makes sense. Like, and most engagements, this sniper is going to do the job. I think Aches was talking about how this is his new favorite gun in the game entirely, which is, that's a bold statement to make. So we shall see. I'm curious to try it out. I want to see what it's like. We'll find out. Now, the next and final gun that we're getting in Season 1 is the sawed-off shotgun. And the leaks were correct. It is, in fact, a secondary. So this is not a normal shotgun. This is going to be in your secondary section on your create a class. And they mentioned that basically they felt that there was a missing sort of weapon in the secondary. They were missing that really up close, quick to kill gun, and that's why they've introduced the sawed-off shotgun. So this gun is going to be very good up close. If you are within just a couple meters of each other, you're going to be doing well with the sawed-off shotgun. You're going to get rewarded for that. However, where you're not going to be rewarded is with the lesser movement. Of all of the sidearms in the game right now, sawed-off shotgun is going to have the lowest movement speed of all of them. Now, it's still going to be faster than an SMG, which, you know, you're still going to be pretty quick, but it's not as fast as the other sidearms. So just keep that in mind. Also, the reload speed on this thing, very, very slow. It is. So just don't miss your shots. It's very, very slow. But I think that the whole idea behind the sawed-off shotgun is to purposefully use it in close engagements. Knowing that when you are equipping the sawed-off shotgun, you are specifically using it for when you run out of ammo in an engagement and you're up close and you pull that out and you just get the one shot off to clean up the kill. In my opinion, that is where this gun is going to shine significantly, is in those engagements where you're shooting, you run out of your ammo, you're trying to juke around, you swap to your secondary, and you hit them with a one shot on the sawed-off shotgun. That's my perspective. That's where I think this gun is going to shine. We're going to see. So, all right, that is it for the weapons and part 1. Now we're going to talk about part 2 here in this video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you're watching so far, make sure you subscribe. We got more videos coming out for Season 1 just like this. All right, part 2, we're talking about the community, and they mentioned a couple specific things that I want to briefly give you guys today. So they were talking about the idea of balance fixes and changing things that have been implemented in the game during Season 1. A lot of times when companies release a new season or they release a new content drop for a game, they will release that and then they won't address any of the problems with the game until the next update, then the next big content drop. Well, they're specifically telling us that that is not going to be the case here in Season 1 of XDefiant. They said they are going to listen to community feedback and will address issues mid-season. And this can already be attested to with our pre-season of the game. We received like 4 or 5 patches to XDefiant in the pre-season itself. So this is honestly no surprise to me, but it's good to hear them double down on that because, you know, with the introduction of a new faction, multiple new weapons and new game modes, things can be broken or things can be overpowered or underpowered. So based off community feedback, they will address those things mid-season. Now, community feedback includes Discord, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, Twitch. I'm sure that they have other things. They also have back-end data that they are analyzing both from the game as well as I think that they have like a system that sifts through a lot of online communities to find information. So basically, they're going to be monitoring very closely when Season 1 comes out to determine whether or not the experience is positive or not for the majority of players. So that's really, really great to see. I'm glad that they're doubling down on this. So if we have issues, it's going to be addressed. Now, the next thing, and admittedly, I'm a little excited about this, we have XDefiant creator codes. This is something that you guys are familiar with from like Fortnite or Call of Duty recently has had creator codes, and I think other games, I think maybe even Rainbow Six Siege might have creator codes as well. But we're getting creator codes in XDefiant. So yes, admittedly, I'm excited about this. I don't know if I'm going to have a creator code. Frankly, I haven't heard if I'm going to get one or not. I hope I will. I will make sure to update you guys in the comments if I do, in fact, get a creator code. I don't know yet. I haven't heard. So we will find out. But the way it's going to work is super simple. If you guys are already going to purchase something from the in-game store, if there's a bundle that you really like, or if there's a skin that you think is really cool, and you're already going to purchase that, when you go into the in-game store, you can select a support a creator button. And in there, you'll have a list of creators, I believe, that you can choose from. And when you choose that creator will be linked to your account for 14 days or until you cancel that link between you and the creator. So basically, anytime you purchase something, it doesn't charge anything extra for you, but Ubisoft will give a little cut of that purchase to that creator that you want to support. So this is a really great way. If you guys want to support your favorite creator in an additional way, this is a fantastic way to do so. Once again, I don't know if I'm going to have a creator code. I haven't heard specifically about this yet, but if I do, I'll make sure to update you guys on Twitter and in the comments of this YouTube video. So super excited about that. Either way, this is really cool for all the creators out there. This is really, really cool. All right, last thing about the community. With each XDebrief episode that we have, which is going to be the main source of breaking news for XDefiant moving forward, they will have a section in each of these XDebrief episodes where they will answer community questions as well as feature community clips that you've submitted. So if you hit a really cool clip in the game, you can submit that clip on Discord and they can showcase it on the XDebrief episode. But also the big thing is asking questions. If you have a question that you want to be answered regarding the game, the future, whatever the case may be, ask it in Discord, and there's a chance that you'll end up having that question asked on the XDebrief episode. Ubisoft has told us from the beginning that they want to be a community-first game. They want to put the players first and be the focus of everything around XDefiant, and they're doing a phenomenal job of continuing to perpetuate that here as the game goes on into Season 1. All right, that's it for part number 2 on the video. Now we're going to get to part 3, which is content. This is going to be a lot of information, so write some notes, pause, rewind, replay, whatever you need to do. We got a lot of stuff to discuss here. We're talking maps, we're talking the Battle Pass, we're talking ranked play, CTF, and Bomb. 3 new mastery camos. Oh, there's a lot of things to discuss. So let's talk about the maps first. The first one that we're getting is Clubhouse, which is coming from Rainbow Six Siege. If you guys have played that game, Clubhouse is an iconic map in R6 Siege. This is going to be an arena map. Now, I mentioned that specifically because if you guys remember, XDefiant has both progression maps and arena maps. Progression maps are maps that are only played on escort and zone control, and arena maps are all the maps that are played with TDM, Occupy, Domination, Hotshot, and now CTF, Bomb. And I feel like I'm forgetting a mode for some reason. I don't know why. Point is, arena is the majority of the game. Progression is a little more niche. Arena is the majority of the game. So Clubhouse is from Rainbow Six Siege. Now, they did mention that they had to adjust the map a little bit in order to fit the gameplay of XDefiant, because obviously Rainbow Six Siege is a much more slow and tactical game with choke points, whereas XDefiant is very fast and fluid and a lot of action happening on the map. So they had to expand things just a little bit in order to allow for that movement to happen. But the big thing that I love is it's colorful and interesting. There's not a lot of visual clutter happening, but there's a lot of color, and the elements that are on the map are interesting to look at. So I'm very, very excited to check out Clubhouse and XDefiant. I think that this might be the first map that drops when Season 1 comes out. I don't think Daytona or Rockefeller are coming first. I'm almost certain that Clubhouse is going to be the first one. We'll see if that's the case, so don't call that gospel, but I'm almost positive that Clubhouse is going to be the first map that we get. Very excited to check out Clubhouse. I think it's going to play really, really good for like Occupy or Domination, and even Bomb. When we get Bomb, I think Bomb is going to play awesome on Clubhouse, given the fact that Rainbow Six Siege, of course, has that as its whole, game style. I think that that's actually going to work really, really well on Clubhouse. Now, the next map is Daytona. Now, this is a progression map. So I mentioned that whole thing about progression versus arena before. Daytona is a progression map that you will play with escort or zone control, and it is from or inspired by The Crew, actually. Now, talking about color, Daytona is mega, mega colorful. Now, if you guys have ever been to Daytona, Florida, which is what this map is based off of, being in Daytona, Florida, you'll find this map to be absolutely reminiscent of exactly what you experienced in Daytona, Florida. Lots of light, blue skies, colorfulness everywhere, racing themed. That's the whole thing. Daytona, Florida they call themselves the racing capital of the world. The only thing that I wish they would have done with Daytona is I wish they would have implemented Daytona International Speedway, because when I think of Daytona and I think of racing, I think of Daytona International Speedway. I don't think of a street course. So that's the only thing I'm a little bit like, bro, about, but hey, that's just me. I'm a NASCAR guy. But either way, longer sight lines, of course, it is a progression map. So if you want to use those ARs, those LMGs, those snipers, this is going to be a great map to do so. But it's just fun and unique. You've got cars everywhere. You got color. You got like the racing memorabilia. It's really, really cool. I'm very excited to play Daytona. I'm not really a big escort or zone control player, but I'm going to want to play Daytona just to play Daytona. So I'm definitely going to be checking this out. All right, the last one, and honestly, probably the map that I'm most excited for, is Rockefeller. This map looks awesome. It is once again an arena map, so we're getting 2 arena maps and 1 progression map in this season. And remember, we're getting 1 map per month. That's the cadence that they're going to be releasing these maps. This map is from The Division, which is really cool to see. And we know that because it is set actually at the Rockefeller Building in Manhattan in New York City. So I took a look and was kind of, observing around the map, and I was like, that looks very familiar to when I was in New York City and went to the Rockefeller Building. So if you guys have ever been there, take a look at this map and you'll know what I'm talking about. It'll click with you. This map is very, very close quarters. This is going to be, honestly, I'm thinking maybe my new favorite map in the game. Very close quarters, lots of close engagements. I'm really excited about that, but it's also very colorful. It's kind of, it's like if you had a destitute paintball arena in, the end of the world. That's kind of what this map looks like. I'm very, very excited. It visually looks very interesting. They got a lot of interesting elements. The biggest thing I'm super excited about this map is that there's no doors. There's no doors once again in a new map in XDefiant. Super happy for that. But this map is going to be great for SMGs and close quarter gunfights. Your shotguns are going to be great on here. Definitely utilize that sawed-off shotgun as your secondary here. Maybe run an MP7 and the sawed-off, or try running the LVOAC, build it for an SMG style gun, and then use that sawed-off shotgun as your secondary. Probably going to be doing very, very well on this map. I can see using the Echelon being great here. Even using the Libertad would be great. This is going to be a really good map. I think Rockefeller is going to be an awesome pub map moving forward for sure. All right, let's talk about the Battle Pass now. It is going to be 90 tiers. So if you guys remember, in the preseason, it was 50 tiers, but now that we have a full season, it's going to be a 90 tier Battle Pass. Now, I'm just going to be straight up. The Battle Pass actually looks really good. I wasn't super keen on the preseason Battle Pass. I thought it was pretty mid. It wasn't anything amazing. So far, this Battle Pass looks really, really awesome. And specifically, I'm talking about the skins in the game. The skins look really good. Now, real quick, before I talk about these skins, I forgot to mention this. The 3 weapons that I talked about, the LVOAC, the L115, and the sawed-off shotgun, all 3 of those weapons will be unlocked via the free Battle Pass. So just remember that. The free Battle Pass is how you unlock the 3 weapons that are coming in the season. I just had to mention that real quick because I forgot to talk about it earlier. But anyways, back to the skins. They look really, really good. There's a new skin called the Spectra that is coming in the Battle Pass, and it looks amazing. It's like a glowing blue skeletal skin. It's for Captain, or is it Captain? Captain? I don't know how to say it. From the GSK faction. It's for Iselda from Libertad, and it's for Green with the Cleaners. So all 3 of those faction characters specifically, you can use this skin on, and you could also use it on the TAC 50. I'm going to be honest. I don't know for sure yet because I haven't played with it, but I am thinking that this might be my new favorite skin in the game. It looks so good. I mean, it looks really good. If this is indicative of the skins and the cosmetics that we're going to be getting for XDefiant moving forward, oh boy, it's looking up. It's looking up, gentlemen. It's looking up. Now, talking about skins, we also got the skeletonized dragon skin for the SVD. Looks really good. It's much more clean, if that makes sense, whereas the Spectra was more poppy and cool looking. Skeletonized dragon is a little more clean, but it still looks good. Not a problem there. But this is interesting. This is where things get a little interesting for me. They have a new legendary skin for Stark from the GSK faction called Thunderbolt. Now, according to what we see from the feature, it looks like it actually has electrical bolts surrounding the character model. Like it periodically refreshes and electrical bolts start running around the character body. I'm not even kidding. If that is how it works, bro, I am very excited for the future of the skins in this game because that is going to be awesome. And that tells me that we have some really cool opportunities for customization moving forward. I don't know. I honestly can't tell if it was only for the visual effects of the trailer to have those electrical bolts or if it's actually how the skin looks. We're going to see when we get through the Battle Pass and get that thing unlocked. Very, very excited about that skin. Now, perhaps my new favorite ACR skin is the Power Washer. This looks so fun. You know, when we think about XDefiant, we think that it's about fun and being arcadey, right? Well, this is about as fun and arcadey as you can get. You turn your ACR skin into a power washer. I mean, it's so cool. I think you got a rubber ducky on it. Like, it looks so fun. I'm so excited to use that. And it's for the ACR too, which is a very well used gun. It's not for the M4, which nobody likes using anymore. So I'm super excited about using that. That gun looks absolutely awesome. Now we're gonna get cool new player animations and emoji sets and a bunch more. You're gonna get like 1300 X coins and some other little bits, some XP boosters and things like that in the battle pass. So, you know, we got all the little goodies that we normally get, but as far as the skins are concerned, which is really the big thing that people are focusing on with the battle pass, they actually look really good. Now we got some other skins, like I think it's like the House of Cards or something like that. Personally, not really a big fan, but we have another, you know, set of good skins here that I'm super excited about, so that works for me. All right, let's talk about ranked play. There's a lot of information. They broke down basically everything you need to know about ranked here coming in season 1. So here's the thing that people were freaking out about. They were like, they heard on Twitter or on one of the previous videos that XDefiant posted that there wasn't going to be ranked day 1 for season 1. Well, they explained what that actually means. So ranked is going to be there. The rule set, the maps, the modes, all of that is going to be there day 1. But apparently the way that they're approaching things is for each season, the first 7 days, the first week, the first 7 days of the new season, the ranks will not be active. So you'll be able to play ranked, but it'll just kind of be like how it is right now, where it's you're playing the ranked modes, but you're not actually getting a rank. But then when those 7 days expire, then the ranks will be activated. So they're giving you a warm-up period, basically, to get familiar with the new weapons, to get familiar with the new maps, and the new season. I don't think this is a bad approach. I just think that for everybody who's been waiting for ranked, this is going to suck a little bit because now they have to wait an extra week in order to play ranked. I just think that this is a situation where right now it's going to kind of suck for people who have had to wait 7 weeks to play ranked. But once the seasons are rolling and ranked has been out, I don't think this is going to be a problem anymore. I get the concept of what they're doing. They're trying to give people a warm-up period to get familiar with the season first. I understand what they're doing. So just keep that in mind. When season 1 comes out, ranked will be there, but the ranks themselves will not be activated until the next week. All right, as far as ranks are concerned, we have 7 ranks in ranked play for XDefiant. We have bronze, silver, gold, ruby, emerald, diamonds, and legends. Now, within each of these 7 ranks, you have 10 levels that you're going to traverse through. So for bronze through diamond, you have 10 levels you're going to go up through. So it'll be bronze 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And each of those levels, you're going to have 100 RP or rank points that you need to achieve in order to reach the next level. Now, once you reach Legends, Legends is going to be where you're going to be competing with everyone else that's in the Legends pool to see who will end the season at top 500. So that is going to be where the competition gets really stiff. You're looking to be the top 500 players in all of XDefiant. And we just learned recently that XDefiant has reached 11 million players so far. So you've got a little bit of competition in terms of who's going to be the top 500 in the game. But at least through bronze to diamond, you're going to have those 10 levels that you're going to go through, 1 through 10 for each level. And then once you hit legends, you're going to be looking to just compete at being the best of the best to be top 500. Now, as far as queuing is concerned, from bronze through emerald, these 5 ranks right here, bronze through emerald, you're going to be able to queue as a full squad, as a duo queue, trios, solo. You can queue as all of those. That's no big deal whatsoever. But once you reach diamond and legends, it is only duo queue or solo queue. So just keep that in mind. You cannot full stack in diamonds or legends. And apparently this is kind of how League of Legends does this. So just keep that in mind. I think League is a good game to go off of in terms of competitive integrity. So just keep that in mind. But bronze through emerald, you're going to be able to full stack. Now, if you are full stacking, the way that the game will work in terms of matching you with players, you are allowed to squad with a team that is within 15 levels of each other. So remember, I mentioned each rank has 10 levels in it. So the way this is going to work is, let's say that you are a Ruby 5, okay? You basically have 15 levels that you can work with to kind of mash your squad into. So if you're a Ruby 5, then you can realistically only have a maximum of like an Emerald 2 or something like that, and like a Gold 7 or something along those lines. There's 15 levels that you can have between the lowest and the highest player on your squad. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to have you queue with people who are relatively close to you, but You know, they're not making it to where you can't queue with people that you're friends with, if that makes sense. So just keep that in mind when you're queuing with a full squad. You kind of want to make sure you're relatively similar in level. Now, as far as how you gain and lose RP, when you win a match, you're going to gain RP. When you lose a match, you're going to lose RP. Pretty self-explanatory, but there's a little more details and nuances that go into it. So how much you gain or lose is determined by a couple things. It's first off determined by how you played. Did you perform well in the match? If you were the losing team, but you were the best performer, you're going to lose less RP than the rest of your team. Or if you won and you performed the worst, you're going to gain the least amount of RP from your team. Now, the other thing that they're going to determine for how much you gain or lose RP is based off of how the game predicts the match to go. So when they create the lobby, they're going to observe the team's MMRs, and they're going to predict whether or not your team is going to win against the other team and by how much. Based off that prediction and how your results of the match end, you will get more or less based off that. If you were supposed to win and you won by a close margin, you're not going to get as much RP as if you weren't supposed to win, but you won. Now, in terms of who gets the most RP, I mentioned being the best player in the lobby. This is not necessarily tied to the best KD. They are going to consider everything. They're going to consider your OBJ time and how you're playing on the map, things like that. So you could theoretically have the most deaths, have the worst KD in the lobby, but have by far the most objective and still get the most RP out of your team in that match. So they are considering all different aspects of the game when gaining or losing RP. So just keep that in mind. That's really good to see. Now, at the end of each season, you will be reset back to silver. So if you are currently in silver or above, at the end of the season, they're going to reset you back to silver, and your level within silver is going to be dependent on where you were before. So if you were a legend, you'll probably go back to like silver 10 or something along those lines, right? Now, if you were bronze previously, you're going to stay in bronze. You're not going to go up to silver. You're going to stay exactly where you were. So bronze is, for the players out there who still need a little bit of work to get better. Now, I mentioned about the solo duo queue for the legends and diamond. So I already mentioned that. We don't need to go back over that. But as far as matchmaking is concerned, matchmaking puts you against players of similar rank when they're matching you. And then once the lobby is created, they're going to balance off of your MMR. Now, this is, of course, mostly concerning if you're playing like a solo queue, because it's 4v4 in ranked, by the way. If you didn't know that, it's 4v4. So if you are solo queuing, then this is where it's going to really, come into play, the MMR balancing. But if you're full stacking, this obviously isn't really going to be that pertinent for you because you're already going to have your team. But just keep that in mind that when you are matching in ranked, you're going to match against ranked similarity first. And then once the lobby's created, they will balance the team based off your MMR, which is similar to how it already happens right now. Now, something that's very important that I'm sure people will love to hear is that Occupy will have set rotations on each of the maps, which is unlike how it is in pubs right now. In pubs, it's just random. So that's fantastic to see. You'll be able to learn the spawns, learn the rotations. That is really awesome. Now, one of the really cool things about playing ranked is that you're going to get exclusive ranked rewards for playing ranked that you can only get in ranked. When you achieve various ranks within the ranked mode on XDefiant, you're going to get those rewards and they will forever be unlocked for you. So it doesn't matter if you de-rank out of the rank that you got that reward in. It doesn't matter. You're always going to have that reward. So just keep that in mind. That's a good little bit of information to know. But this season's ranked rewards are going to be from their paintball line. So everything's going to be themed around paintball, which is really, really cool. Now, the cool thing, though, is that if you hit top 500, at the end of the season, you're going to get exclusive rewards that only top 500 players are going to get. So this is actually really cool. It's going to be an awesome incentive for you to play really hard and reach that top 500 rank. I'm never going to get that, admittedly, but for those who do, that's really, really awesome. And they showed a little bit of a tease of potentially what it could be. And I think we saw some color changing decals on the weapons. Right now, you can't put decals on your guns, but it kind of looked like that's what it was. So that's really, really interesting. I'm hoping that that's the case. Now, as far as game modes that are going to be in ranked, initially, we're going to be getting Domination, Occupy, Escort, and Zone Control. And they talked about how they'll go through the process of adding different modes to ranked in the future. And basically, they said that any new mode that they add to the game is going to go to unranked first. And based off of community feedback, they will approach the idea of putting that into ranked play after. So right now, for example, CTF, which is coming in XDefiant Season 1, is not going to be in ranked, and Bomb is also not going to be in ranked at first. So this is something that they'll address and potentially add in the future, but it's not going to be there right now. Now, talking about those new game modes, we are in fact getting Capture the Flag, which we've already known. But with that said, we have CTF coming to the game, and it's going to be first team to 4 captures. Now, I've said this before. I feel like it's a weird number. I don't know how that's going to work, but hey, I'm here to try it. We're going to see how it works. But the thing that I did notice is that having the flag does not change the gameplay for the flag carrier. You're going to have a little visual on screen that you have the flag, but it's not going to change the way that you physically run around. You're not going to be holding anything. It's going to be sort of a digital flag, if that makes sense. So it's traditional capture the flag as you would expect from CTF. Super excited to play this. I think it's going to be an awesome addition. CTF has been neglected from FPSs in recent memory, so I'm happy to see it coming back. Very excited to check it out here in Season 1. And they officially confirmed that Bomb, which is their search and destroy mode, is coming in Season 1. They didn't say when. It's an undisclosed time, but my expectation is that it will be a mid-season update, potentially coming sometime in August, maybe. We'll see. But we are going to be getting Bomb, and they showed a little bit of gameplay of what it looks like. Now, I wasn't expecting anything too revolutionary from a gameplay perspective. It looks like traditional search and destroy. It's the first team to 6 round victories win. You know, the same things. You're going to have your round 11 hype times, you know, as you normally would in S&D. But we don't know any other details as far as, you know, only having so many factions on the team, or like how is the faction ultimate ability timer going to work in S&D. We don't know yet, but at the very least, we do know that Bomb is coming mid-season or at some point in the season of Season 1. So I'm super excited about that. It looks great. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be a fun time, and I'm really excited for whenever it gets added to ranked, because that's going to be an awesome mode to have in ranked for XDefiant. All right, we're just about done here. We're going to talk about the Mastery camos, because they showed off 3 new camos, 3 new Mastery camos. I was only expecting 1, but we're getting 3. So the way it's going to work is they're going to be a part of the Titanium series. So all 3 Mastery camos will be a part of the Titanium series, which is interesting because I think in the future, this is going to be the new sort of route that they take. They're going to have series of camos, which are themed around the same thing. So this is super interesting. But basically, levels 4, 5, and 6 for Mastery is going to be Violet, Azure, and Prisma. So Titanium, Violet, Titanium Azure, and Titanium Prisma, and they react to the lighting. This is super, super cool. So the actual camos themselves, depending on how the light is hitting your gun, the camo looks a little different, which is so, so cool. I absolutely love how this looks. But even better, the level 6 Mastery, Prisma, changes colors. It is like a constant chroma change. It's just constantly going through the different colors on the color wheel. It looks phenomenal. I'm so excited to use this. Now, we don't know specific details on what the actual level requirement will be for in terms of leveling up your XP on the gun. Based off of where they are right now, I think we can expect potentially that level 4 will be 250, level 5, 300, and level 6, 350, potentially. And if that's the case, that's great, because we can run through those pretty, you know, not too fast, but not too slow now. But we don't know that for sure. We just know that right now they're level 4, 5, and 6. But these Mastery camos look absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to get my MP7 all the way up to Prisma. It's going to be fantastic. All right, that is everything you need to know about Season 1 of XDefiant, the ultimate guide to Season 1. I appreciate you guys watching so far. Listen, if you're this far into the video, do me a favor. Like this says over here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. All right, I have more guides coming out for XDefiant just like this, more detailed information about things that you need to know about XDefiant. So speaking of things you need to know, if you're new to the game and you need to know more about the game than just what I've talked about here, then check out this video on screen somewhere. There it is. Check out that video on screen to hear everything you need to know about XDefiant.